Hey everyone, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bentner, and I'm joined today by Ash Paulson and Rogers Base to discuss our time with Nintendo's holiday preview event. So let's get started. Alright guys, we all got to try out some of Nintendo's upcoming games for the holiday. You guys, of course, are based in LA. I got to go up to New York and try out a few of these games. And it was promised to be something a little bit different, at least for me. Like, I was really excited because they said Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would be there. And then the New York event didn't actually get it in, so I didn't get to play the game. However, and you guys both did. So let's go ahead and start with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You guys can make me feel bad that I didn't actually get to play this game that I cannot wait to play. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't have a whole lot new to say, because I basically played the same exact demo I played at PAX, although I believe it was a newer build, so there's that. But it was the same location, same enemies, basically kind of the same stuff. So I don't have much new to say, and I'm going to say what I did last time, which is I think there's a lot of potential here, and I'm excited about the full game, but I don't feel as though this is the kind of game that is ideal to play just being dropped into the middle and having such a complex battle system explained to you on the fly. There is so much more complexity and so much more to pay attention to at any given moment in Xenoblade Chronicles 2's battles than there were in the first game. And I don't mean X, I mean specifically Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And it's just, even for returning fans, there's a lot to absorb. So it's, you know, I had a good time, but it's the kind of game that I would really prefer to be able to play from the beginning and kind of get my bearings first. Because again, you're just the demo I played, you're dropped in, you're like level 20, you're around enemies that are 4 or 5 higher levels than you. And actually, for even part of my demo, one of the Treehouse people played, and even he kept dying over and over again. So like
exactly
he was showing off
in my demo.
You too. Nice,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so like he showed off all these cool like art combos and things like that, but then he still kept dying, and I'm like, man, I'm not sure this is the best location to have this demo in for the strength of your party, relatively. But, Roger, it sounds like you had kind of a similar experience.
Yeah, so I actually went into this demo blind. Beyond the Nintendo Direct that we got, where we got a little bit of footage and we found out more about the battle mechanics, I really didn't know what to expect from this because I wasn't at PAX. I didn't play the previous build. I didn't know, what enemies were going to be there or what the environment was going to look like. So I was really blown away just by the visuals because the environment that we were thrown into in this demo was like this. It was inside of the stomach of a Titan. And everything in the environment was either like this really highly saturated purple or like these deep blues and greens, and it was really vibrant. And so that was the first thing I noticed because I was playing on a TV. I didn't play in handheld mode. And I just thought, wow, this game is so pretty. Like, I'm sure this is going to look amazing on like even handheld mode if I'm sitting and playing at home. But with that being said, I am in complete agreement with you about the battle mechanics because I'm a huge fan of both the original Xenoblade and Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think I put in about like 150 hours in X and just as much in Xenoblade Chronicles, and that's not even including the 3DS port of Xenoblade Chronicles. So I've played a lot of Xenoblade. I feel like I have a lot of experience with the franchise, and yeah, it's like there are so many things that they've added to the battles because we have the arts mechanics that are making a return, plus you've got these elemental attacks that you have to juggle. You have the blades, which all have their own different abilities, and then on top of all of that, there's this new combo mechanic where you basically want to stack up your arts to have a stronger attack and then switch to another blade to do an even more powerful attack, like a combo attack. And in order to stack those blades, you basically have to count your auto attacks. So like Rex or whoever you're playing as will sort of like auto attack whichever enemy you're targeting, and then you basically have to count to yourself, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then on the third hit, or depending on, if you have another weapon, sometimes it's the 5th hit, you then have to press A, and then that will sort of stack up these arts attacks. And so juggling all of that, when I was thrown into the world for the first time, definitely was a little overwhelming, but I feel like, based on what Demetrius and everybody else was saying during this demo, it seems like it's because we were thrown into it about like 15 hours into the game. I think when we actually get our hands on the final version of the game, all of this stuff is going to be sort of like taught to us over the course of like simpler battles than the ones that we actually face right now. And the other thing about this demo, which I thought was really weird, was that a lot of the enemies that you run into, even though they're only like level 24 and you're level 20 or level 21, enemies that you would not necessarily think would be extraordinarily difficult were actually like incredibly hard boss enemies. And I don't know if you actually ran into the same one as I did, but there was it was like a weird emu bird type thing. I forgot what it was called. I have footage of it on my other channel. But it basically fights by farting at you, and it one hit killed me. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I ran into that thing and I died
about.
immediately. I died immediately. And I'm like, I don't know how to counter this. It's only level 24. What am I doing wrong? I was like stacking combos. I got like an eighth of its health done, and then right away still I was like blown away by it.
Yeah. So in my demo, I actually... I basically played for the first half, and then Demetrius played for the second half, and he ran into that enemy you're talking about, and he made it, I think he got about 40% of its HP off before he got wiped out, because he ended up aggroing a completely different mob of enemies that came and joined the fight. And, you know, it's already hard enough to fight that one emu thing that, like, attacks, again, by farting. And so when you get those, like, two other enemies in there, it was just completely impossible. And he got laid flat. But I agree, like, it seemed like almost every enemy that I thought would be, like, a regular monster ended up being, like, a boss-type fight, which, like, with an HP bar, they would barely go down, even if you were doing everything right. So, I just don't, like, again, like, it's pretty much exactly as you said, Roger. Playing this game from the beginning, I don't have very many worries, but I don't feel like they showed the best vertical slice of the game to show off, especially with the party they prepared you with for the demo. So... I'm not feeling too hot about the demo, but the game I think is going to be fine.
Maybe the reason they did that, I'm just like thinking about this now, is they wanted to show off all those other mechanics, like the elemental stuff and, you know, the art stacking, and you really couldn't do that maybe early in the game where you're maybe taught this like one mechanic at a time. And so they figured, well, you know what, this is probably the first area in the game where you have all these mechanics together for the first time, so let's just throw them right in the midst of it. And, I mean, the demo was pretty long. I think I spent about an hour just playing Xenoblade alone, and I think you said you spent, like, what, 25, 30 minutes on it? So we had a pretty lengthy amount of time.
Right, and really the only thing I was a little bummed out about was it was, again, the same area I'd already, you know, explored at a previous demo, but, you know, I get that they don't want to show off too much of what's in the game. The other thing I do want to mention, though, is that I did get to play through that area during a different weather pattern. I don't know if you saw the rain, Roger, but I got to play that area while it was raining this time, and that graphical effect with the rain in the distance looked absolutely stunning. So I do want to underscore what you said about the graphics. It is a great-looking game. The last thing I would add is that, and I mentioned this in the last preview discussion I did about this game, but one thing that returning Xenoblade players, again, are going to have to get used to is the fact that you no longer auto-attack while you're moving. Moving at all resets your auto attack animation. So you have to stay still, and as someone again who played the original Xenoblade so much, you know, running around like a madman with Shulk doing slashes while he moves, no, you can't do that. Rex cannot attack while you're moving, period.
Yeah, that was something I didn't even think about it when I was talking about the other mechanics, but that was something that I initially tried doing, and Demetrius was like, no, stay where you are, otherwise you're gonna die.
Exactly. So you really you cannot, you know, you can't go into 2 with a mentality like 1 that you're always on the move. You have to plant your feet and decide where you're gonna attack.
Yeah. That's cool that you were talking about the weather mechanic, though, because I don't know if you got to this area in the demo. Did you get to the little town?
No, I did not. I know that was at the end of the demo, but I didn't get there, because basically I died a couple of times, then Demetrius died a few times, so we basically never... Because those enemies are all so strong compared to the party. Yeah.
The town at the end of the demo, it's called like the Gwendol Docks or something. I'm probably butchering that name, but you could like see in the gameplay footage. That has one of the prettiest town themes I have ever heard in a Nintendo game. And it's like equal parts pretty and also bombastic. And if you have not already had the opportunity to check that out, I'm sure GameXplain is going to have direct feed footage of that area, because I'm going to send them my footage of that area. And it is just like so good. I was just running around the town because we couldn't really do anything. They were like, you can't walk into the shops, you can't really talk to people, so just like explore a little bit. And so I was just running around listening to the music, and I found myself really enjoying just that aspect of it.
For sure, that was the other thing I was going to say, is that I did really enjoy the opportunity to get to finally play like direct feed and hear the soundtrack, because to absolutely nobody's surprise, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 soundtrack sounds amazing so far. And I believe it's the same like video game musician collective that worked on the first game. So there's no surprise at all. But so far, this soundtrack is shaping up to be phenomenal.
Who was the composer on the first game? Because I know the composer on the second game was the person who did the music for the Attack on Titan anime, and you could totally tell the difference. Because this one's a lot more orchestrated, it's more like elegant sounding, and yeah, X is a lot more like, yeah, rock, here we go. And you still have some of those rock battle themes in the actual fights, but when you're in a town or just exploring the environment, you don't really have that like you did in X.
I believe the X composer was the one that did Kill la Kill, unless he also did Attack on Titan as well.
Also did Attack on Titan, yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and actually the lead composer on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is actually Yasunori Mitsuda, who's one of my personal favorites. He did
Nice.
Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, so many incredible RPG soundtracks back in the day. And I guess he runs his own independent video game music studio now, and it's that studio who is heading up the music for Chronicles 2. So I believe that's how it's shaking out.
I wanted to play so
I know,
much.
right?
When I heard about this event and I saw that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was on the lineup, I'm like, yes! I finally get to play it. After streaming all of it, I finally get to play this damn game. And I get there and like, yeah, we didn't actually get our copy in, sorry. I'm like, damn it. It sucks so much. I mean, I'm sure I would have gotten destroyed just like you guys, because I'm trying to imagine getting thrown into the original Xenoblade Chronicles at level 20 with all the systems in play already there. And I think that's probably around the time where, Shulk's time manipulation abilities started kicking in. I'm like, yeah, I'd be a little confused too at that point. It'd be a little rough just jumping in right then.
But I think, like, imagine that, where you have the Monado arts on the bottom of the screen, and then you basically, like, time your B press to see your future. Like, it's like that, but in addition to that, that's just one corner of the menu. You have a whole nother corner of the menu that's elements, and another corner of the menu that is all your different blades. And you have to shift between all of that while managing stacking your arts in the other corner. So you literally have four corners of information that you have to watch at all times, and you can't run around. I think that's probably the reason why they had you stand still in this game as opposed to the other ones, is because if you're running around and doing all that, you would definitely get lost very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I obviously don't want to, say things too early. I think I'm still excited about the full game, but I do get the sense that I wonder if combat in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a little too complicated for its own good. Again, we haven't played the full game. We've only played that one vertical slice, but there's something, I don't know, compared to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I felt like there was something missing personally in combat. I'm sure it's more fun once you learn it from the ground up, and I'm gonna have a good time, but something didn't feel the same. You know what I mean, Roger? Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it comes out December 1st, which is a month and a half away, which is insane. Nobody thought this game was going to come out this year, and here it comes. So, wow. So, what else did you get? What else did you play while you were at the event, Ash?
I also played Super Mario Odyssey. Unfortunately, though, it was the same demo from E3, so just New Donk City and Toast Arena. But I also did play Mario Party: The Top 100. So I got to have a little hands-on time with that. And actually, this seems to run counter to what you heard, or what happened to you, Derek, but I basically got to play whatever I wanted. So I just got basically, about 20 minutes of time with the demo just to kind of check things out. And, I mean, what am I supposed to say about it? It's Mario Party on the 3DS with, it's a best-of collection. But I have to say, and I was telling you and Andre this before, I've gone from being slightly annoyed that it's on 3DS to, after having played it, straight up angry that it's on 3DS, because this isn't only, a top 100 minigames. This is like a full, history of celebrating the entire Mario Party franchise. There's like a whole history section. There's like a whole, a collections menu where you can look through different items and listen to music from the entire series. And it's like, why is all this on 3DS? I want to see this on Switch with my friends and get some 3 friends over and play like the best 100 minigames from the entire series. This doesn't feel like it should be on 3DS.
Yeah, I didn't get to see any of that. They were very hands-on with what I could see and what I could do, so they kept me to the half decathlon mode, which kept me to 5 minigames from a few of the series, and they played fine, I'll say that much, but
yeah,
I mean, it was just going minigame to minigame to minigame to see who could do the best, which is fine, but I did not see the new trailer they put out, but I'm hearing that there are no boards, or there doesn't seem to be. And again, okay, great, we're having the top 100 minigames, but I feel like there needs to be a better structure around those mini games because you can't just keep playing them over and over again. And yeah, it's great that we have the most mini games out of any Mario Party. They're still going to get old without something to punctuate them.
Well, now I did play a board mode. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I played. It was a mode where you basically play a miniature board game with 4 characters, and certain spaces will activate mini games. So it felt a little like traditional Mario Party. But, I mean, it was kind of slow-paced, and I felt like not a lot was happening on each turn, so I actually ended up... It was a 10-turn game, and I ended up quitting out on the 4th turn just because I didn't want to waste what little footage time I had just showing that, and I want to be more excited about the fact that there's a board game mode in here, but what I played wasn't all that engaging, and it felt a little slow-paced. So I almost actually preferred I then played a half decathlon, just because I preferred being able just to get into the minigames and play them. So I'm not sure yet about this game. Like, I feel like it's cool that they have that board game mode, but it's not paced well enough, at least from what I played, for me to want to go back and jump right back into it, you know?
At least, I mean, the minigames are incredibly faithful recreations. It's cool to jump back into them and experience them all over again and try to get those little bits. And I feel like maybe I didn't notice them because when I was younger when I played them, and it's been a while since I've gone back to it. But I feel like did you play the slot car derby? As part of
I did play that.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm pretty sure we played the same 5 mini games.
Maybe.
In the slot car derby, I don't know if I've ever noticed this before, but there's like little visual indicators for your car, like sort of gave you a better idea of when you're about to spin out. So because of that, I was able to do pretty well and not spin out as much. It took me a little while to notice that, but I don't know if that was in the original game. But I like that little extra touch that makes them better. And again, going back to the original point, it'd be so much better on the Switch. Why isn't this on the Switch? Especially because having it be able to go into handheld mode, have the different Joy-Con. This thing is custom built to work so well on the Switch. Any Mario Party game, really. It has to happen eventually, and I just hope they decide to use this concept again, just in a better way. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to underscore what you guys both said about the minigames being fun. They are fun. They remain fun. I mean, these are minigames that I have enjoyed in various iterations of Mario Party throughout the years, and they definitely hold up here on 3DS. Like, this is still, it's fun, and it's fine. I don't know about the board game aspect, but it's fine, and it's, these games hold up. I just don't know if this is the right platform for them, just because, again, I want to get my friends in on the action. But, we'll see how that bears out for Nintendo. But one thing I do want to touch on is that I did get to I got to fully explore the collections menu, and I'm sure there's more to unlock, but I gotta say, I think it's pretty cool that it is very much there's almost like it's presented almost like a chronicle of all these Mario Party games throughout the years. You get all the release dates, box arts, things like that. And again, I think that's really cool. I mean, this is a series that has gone on for way longer than I think most people maybe anticipated it would when the first one came out back on N64. So I think it's really cool that it's essentially a celebration of the entire franchise, in addition to collecting the top 100 minigames. I just feel like it's not the right context for it, again, because I want to get my friends in on the action. But, I've said that, so it is what it is.
Yep. Did you take the time to play it as well, Roger?
No. I am not a Mario Party fan, and I was like, you know what? I want to spend more time on Xenoblade, which I've waited a very long time to play. I even went into this, I told them, I was like, listen, I'm here for Xenoblade. Whatever else you guys got, I'll play. But, please let me play a lot of Xenoblade. So they're like, here you go, play for an hour. I'm like, all right, great.
Yeah.
But
that's
no,
awesome.
I didn't play Mario Party.
All right, that's all right. Well, what else did you play?
I played Doom, which, oh my god, looks incredible on the Switch.
Right?
Yeah.
I am honestly blown away that Bethesda was able to put that game on there. I was playing, I don't know if you played it in docked mode. I played exclusively in handheld mode.
Yeah, that's all they'll show.
Even in handheld mode, it looked gorgeous. Like, I had never originally played the one that was on PS4. I heard so many people telling me it was like their game of the year last year and that it was amazing and I should check it out, but those type of shooters aren't really my thing. And so this was like my first ever experience with the new Doom, and god, I'm ready for it. I was telling them during the demo that this was giving me hope for like whatever Metroid Prime is going to look like on the Switch. Like, if this is what Bethesda's able to do with a port of a really powerful PS4 game, I cannot imagine what the Metroid teams are going to be able to pull off for the next Prime.
This is my first experience with Doom on the Switch as well. I have it on the PS4. I've played it a bit. Didn't actually get a chance to beat it, but I did play pretty well into the game. And yeah, I'm notoriously bad at being able to tell between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second, and that is a sacrifice of it being on the Switch, is that it's only at 30, but I couldn't tell a difference. It felt as speedy as ever and just smooth as butter, no slowdown whatsoever, just as visceral as the regular PS4 game. Like, I don't feel like you're taking much of a hit picking it up on the Switch rather than any other console. I really don't, and it plays beautifully in handheld mode. Like, I could just imagine, like, especially going up to New York, I'd take the train, have a 3-hour train ride each way. That'd be perfect to play Doom on, playing it on something like that. That's amazing, you know?
Yeah, it's seriously impressive. I gotta echo what you guys are saying. I mean, and as someone who absolutely can, I can totally tell the difference between 30 and 60 frames per second. It doesn't matter. In this game, even if it is a locked 30 frames per second, or maybe it's not locked, I don't know, but whatever I played on handheld mode, I didn't play it today, but I went to a Bethesda event, a preview event, a couple of weeks ago, and I got to play it there. I played it on handheld mode, same as you guys, and I was absolutely blown away. And of course, there are going to be visual concessions made for the Switch, but unless you're looking at them side by side, it sure as hell doesn't matter, because I was absolutely impressed by what the Switch was able to do with Doom. Like, I cannot believe, as you just said, Derek, I couldn't believe I was playing a game that looks that good on what is essentially a tablet-powered handheld. Like, whatever magic that Bethesda worked to make this happen, it is incredible, because it really does. I mean, throw any, anything you have about 30 versus 60 frames per second out the window about this game. Sure, it looks better on PS4 Pro. That is obviously always going to be true, but in a vacuum, God, the Switch version of Doom looks amazing.
And I think it's great that they're releasing it on Switch this year, too, because, like, obviously this holiday is stacked if you are a Nintendo player. Like, you've got Mario, you've got Fire Emblem, now you've got Doom, you've got the Skyrim. Like, there's a lot of stuff to play. But I also feel like when Doom was released last year, it was sort of bogged down, for me personally, by FF15, because I had waited so long for that game, and I really wanted to play through it. And at the same time, Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. So I had these two really massive RPGs that I wanted to play a lot of that I just sort of like completely missed Doom. And on top of that, last year Overwatch was new, right? So I was managing my time between Overwatch, which was brand new at the time, plus Pokemon, plus Final Fantasy. So I feel like this is a very smart decision for them to put this on the Switch, because not only are they going to reach like those Nintendo owners, you're going to get people who did not own a Wii U, have not been Nintendo console owners for a long time, who maybe don't even have a PS4 or an Xbox One yet, and then they see this on there and they're like, whoa, a new Doom? I remember playing that on Super Nintendo, especially because the Switch box looks like the old, the beautiful Doom artwork, like with the fire and the... So I think this is going to harken back to like the nostalgia of people who played it on Super Nintendo, and then also like that full Nintendo audience that's been craving a mature game that really, like, they haven't had this for 4 years, and now they have one of the best mature experiences imaginable. So yeah, I'm all in.
Glad you brought up that angle, because you guys mentioned before how you're not really, you don't usually play shooters. Same here. I mean, I basically missed out on Doom not only because of Final Fantasy 15, but also because straight up, I'm just not a big shooter guy, so it's not the kind of game I would gravitate toward. However, I'm really glad I got a chance to preview the Switch version, because it, playing it has allowed me to see this is very much a revival of old school Doom arcadey type shooting. Yeah. Like, it's not at all Call of Duty or Halo-esque. It's visceral. It drops you in. There's very little story pretense. It drops you in. You get into the action, and you're basically getting up close and doing these glory kills on demons. It's super gory, super visceral, and it drops you in and you go. It's not at all a story heavy-handed experience. It feels arcadey like the original Doom did.
Yeah. And I did experience one good thing and one bad thing during my playtime of it. During that initial that big battle in the mid just before he switches over to the basically into the prologue, I was fighting all the demons in that one big room, and one actually acted like it was jumping down to the floor below, except it was against the wall. So it jumped down into the wall and disappeared, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I started freaking out. I was like, oh no, please don't tell me I'm going to end up with like a dead game because I can't go forward until I kill all the demons. And this guy just escaped. But fortunately, he did die somehow, and I was able to go on. So that was a little jank there. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal or anything like that, but it didn't harm anything. It's one and done types things because we've all played it. Even Andre played it. That's the first time I've heard anything like that happening. So it's not a very common thing, it seems. But I also, because they were sort of giving me just time to just enjoy it and play it and record it, I went beyond what I was supposed to be playing. Like, I went beyond the prologue because I didn't know. They didn't tell me when to stop, so I just kept going. So I got to the outdoor area, so it's not...
Oh, they told... Oh, you're so lucky! Because they told me to stop at that moment. They were like, you cannot go past that area. And I was like, oh, no.
Wait, really? They didn't tell me that at all. They let me just play and record as much outdoors as I wanted to.
Yeah, we're only... we can only...
You're so lucky.
Yeah, we can't, as far as I know, maybe at the Bethesda event, or I guess at the Bethesda event.
At the Bethesda event, they were like, hey, as long as it's over the shoulder, off screen, as long as we can see your hands, you can play as far as you want.
Yeah, for me, they said end of the prologue a little later.
Wow.
But I went outside, but yeah, even outside with the open environment and all that stuff, still played rock solid. So it's not just limited to looking good and playing good in the indoor sections. It plays well wherever.
One thing I was going to mention that I did not know that they told me during this demo event is I asked about the multiplayer because a bunch of people have told me the multiplayer is really good in this new Doom game, and they mentioned that the multiplayer is going to be in this game, but that it's going to be a separate download when the game releases.
Yes.
So you're basically going to have like the actual game, but then if you want to play multiplayer, I think you just go on the eShop or whatever and you download like the multiplayer edition or however it's going to work. But they said it is a separate download.
Yeah, it's pretty big, but it also that allows it to fit, like keep its size down in as far as downloads. And also, actually, I think the download, the eShop version will have all of it included. But if you get a physical copy, you have to download the multiplayer separately. I think that's how it works. Yeah. For most people, I heard the multiplayer is just sort of okay. The single player is the big feature here, so I think that's a good way to handle it. Because for me, I would only ever treat this as a single player game.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I go for online multiplayer, especially in shooting games, very rare, or in shooters, like super rare. So I look at this the same way I would look at something like, Uncharted 4 or something, which is just like, yeah, there's that multiplayer component, but I'm really only here for the single player.
So the other game I got to play was Skyrim, which, like Doom, played well, looked great. No complaints there, but it's not quite as impressive since it's a 6-year-old game. Updated version of the 6-year-old game, including all the DLC. But yeah, they also had all the Zelda gear ready for you to use as soon as you got in there, and it's cool. I mean, those type of things don't do a whole lot for me, but they did confirm that there would be no mod support, so there are no modding options or anything like that that's going to be available on the Switch, which is unfortunate for that community, but I kind of expected that, to be honest. And I haven't played Skyrim in so long, and I suck at it because it's basically during my playtime I wandered around, killed some wolves, decided to poke a giant just to make him mad and run away, and then was killed by a troll. And so that was my experience.
I didn't know about that mod thing, though. That makes me really sad that I can't mod in Kung Fu Panda and Shrek and the Minions. It's a real bummer.
What you're really missing out on is that Randy Savage mod for the dragons.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's so funny, Derek. That sounds like almost word for word the same experience I had in Skyrim. Like, I actually had never played Skyrim before, or I played it a little bit, and just Western RPGs aren't usually my thing, so I was still trying to get my bearings. But I basically just, I wandered around, fought a few wolves, and got killed by a troll, essentially. And this was, of course, back at the Bethesda event, but I agree with what you said. I mean, you can definitely tell the graphics have aged. It's not like something like Doom, where, you can definitely tell there's a gap there visually. But for being an updated form of a 6-year-old game running on a handheld, it looks quite nice. And I feel like if you're a Skyrim fan, I feel like it's going to deliver that full experience in a handheld format. But as someone who really didn't play Skyrim before, it's hard for me to weigh on how it compares to the original.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't really have much else to say about it, though. It's just it's Skyrim.
Yeah.
So, did you play any other games, Roger?
Yeah, I played a lot of Fire Emblem Warriors, too, because I actually didn't get a review copy of the game yet, and I just wanted to play more of Camilla, because the last time that I played the game, Camilla wasn't playable. I played the build with, I think it was Corrin and then like the two main characters, like the blonde girl and the blonde guy. And this time I got to play as Camilla, Cordelia, Takumi. I was fighting like Ryoma and Xander, and there were a lot of new features that I saw in this version that I completely missed during the E3 build, and that is like one, the pair-up feature where you could put together like 2 units and they do combo attacks, and two, how you could basically switch between the characters on the fly, similar to how it worked on Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS. Now, we all know Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS is a piece of garbage, but Fire Emblem Warriors is not, and it's on the Switch, and it looks beautiful, and it takes the one thing that worked in the Hyrule Warriors port to 3DS, which was where you're able to switch in real time among the different commanders. And I also really loved the map that you could pull out that basically turns the entire board into a Fire Emblem board, where you like click a unit and you drag them over to your other units and say, I want you to go here, and it makes all the same sound effects as like when you're dragging a unit on the map in the mainline Fire Emblem games. And I feel like they just went above and beyond the Call of Duty with fan service in this game. You've got like all the correct sound effects, all your favorite characters. Camilla's as bouncy as ever in more ways than one. Just like, I was having a blast with it. I really can't wait for the final game.
You're going to enjoy certain aspects of that, because yeah, that map is integral to some of the later missions, where it's like if you tell them to go, like if they have the advantage, because I put out my review today as well, at least when we're recording this, so I played the full version. But yeah, you tell them to go to this area and fight this person, and if they have the advantage, they'll usually win. They won't be as fast as you, but they will win that fight. Or like let's say this character's in trouble and this person has a stave, tell that person to go heal them, or have somebody else guard them until the stave person can show up. There is that nice little bits of strategy that really makes it feel just different enough from Hyrule Warriors, for example. But the thing that you'll really like, you mentioned the sound effects. I did a stream today showing off Fire Emblem Warriors, and showing off history mode, and I went to the map for Lyn, and all the sound effects for the map for the map there are the same sound effects from the Game Boy Advance version where Lyn's from.
Oh my!
I love that. That's so cool.
See, I didn't know that before I did my review, because I didn't go into that before the stream. I only had time for one of them, and I just focused on the one, and the sound effects were still the same. So going into Fire Emblem Blazing Blades soundtrack was pretty cool. I like that little bit of effect. And yeah, the game, I enjoyed the game. I gave it a like. I enjoyed what's there. And yeah, I mean, I think it's fun if you're into it. It's just maybe not quite as fresh as Hyrule Warriors, and obviously there's a few things here and there, but the basic mechanics of the game are pretty solid.
See, it's funny you mentioned that about Hyrule Warriors, because Hyrule Warriors I loved way more than I thought I was going to. I've never been a Dynasty Warriors fan at all, and yet I put in like 80 hours in Hyrule Warriors, and maybe it's because of the fact that early Wii U didn't have the best game lineup, but that's a topic for a different discussion. But I really did enjoy my time with Hyrule Warriors, and it's funny because like even just based on the 2 times that I've played Fire Emblem Warriors so far, which was today's demo event and then at E3, this feels like a franchise that is a much more natural fit for Dynasty Warriors than Zelda. And that's not to say, like, again, I don't like Hyrule Warriors or that they made that game. It's just that, like, to me, the characters of Fire Emblem and the world of Fire Emblem seem to really fit. And I think them naturally fitting with the game, in addition to all of these upgrades, like the real-time strategy and like the map, and then like you mentioned, the history mode, I think to me, I'm probably going to end up liking it even more than I liked Hyrule Warriors. But again, that's because I like me some waifus. I do my anime videos as often as I do gaming videos, so I've been waiting for a game like this for a while.
Yeah, they definitely do go on hard on that, and you have the support conversations. I haven't gotten a ton of them yet because there's just so many. There's so many supports to unlock, and it takes a little while. Plus, I always pairing up everybody with just everybody else all the time, rather than staying focused like I probably should. But no, I think
the best moment in the demo, though, by far, has to be when you beat the level as Camilla, and she goes, "Oh, darling, my eyes are up here," and I was like, "Whoo-hoo! She knows.
Yep.
She knows."
She lifts up the camera too, so you force to look into her face. Oh, it's good.
See, for me, I haven't played Fire Emblem Warriors since PAX, but for me, the VIP of the whole demo for me was Xander, and not even Xander, but Xander's horse. That
so
horse
ridiculous.
can do acrobatics that no horse. Epona has so much catching up to do, because Xander's horse can do so much crazy crap on the battlefield that, like, I mean, it's not even Xander just doing up and flips himself. No, Xander's horse goes and does these, like, full crazy flips, floats in the air, and that's not even a Pegasus. This is a regular-ass horse that is doing all this cool stuff, and screw every Fire Emblem character. In my opinion, the MVP in that game is Xander's horse.
I don't know.
Because it's just...
I have to give up. You didn't get to play him. It doesn't sound like
True.
Roger, but Frederick is pretty awesome. Like, you get him pretty early on.
Okay.
But
nice.
one of his moves that you can do is basically hooks his axe into an enemy and then just starts dragging them along the ground. And and you can hold it and you can just tear them through waves of enemies, and when you're finally done, he just flicks them away towards the other enemies if you want. It's great. Those were the only 3 games you got to try, right, Roger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played like a little bit of FIFA and NBA while I was waiting, and I could have played more Odyssey, but again, I wanted to spend more time on Xenoblade, so I took one for the team.
Yeah, I think Ash and I both played a bit more Odyssey, and it's the same demo. It's still the same demo from E3 with New Donk City and Sand Kingdom, and I mean, I saw some new things. I got to ride the Jaxi for the first time, so that was cool, and I'm excited to play Mario Odyssey. I'm just tired of going through New Donk City and Tostarena.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I played for a little bit. I tried to find new things that we haven't already shown off. It's obviously pretty tough at this point. But, I did find new things that were new to me, at least. Basically, I found things that were new to me when I was at the City Walk event waiting for the Seaside Kingdom demo. So I tried to replicate that now that I was able to record. And so probably not new to you guys, but for me, I really like those scarecrows that you can find that essentially open up little mini obstacle courses that you can't use Cappy for, because Cappy is on the scarecrow. So it's essentially like a very miniature version of I want to say like the Super Mario Sunshine courses where you can't use the flood.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
this is like a super miniaturized version of that, where you have this little obstacle course that you have to get through in a limited amount of time, but you can't use Cappy. So I love those, and that was something that was new to me. So I discovered that, and then I found I found a little room where you can use the capture on the Moai enemies to put on the shades to reveal the invisible platforms. Mm-hmm. So that was cool and kind of new to me as well. But again, it's so hard to find stuff in the Sand Kingdom and Metro Kingdom that someone hasn't seen, even if it's me or anybody else. Like, those 2 kingdoms have been covered so much now.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually only those portions of the kingdoms, right? Because, like, we already know
exactly.
New Donk City, like, at some point you're going to be able to play at night. And I think that was a demo at some event. I think there was, like, that nighttime demo where you fight that boss. But, like, there's a whole nighttime version of New Donk. And then we also know this, too, from the Nintendo World Championships, the, like, inside the pyramid in Tostarena. Because isn't that where they were fighting in the World Championships, where they fight the giant, like, Andros Aztec boss?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the reason, it's not that we're tired of these levels. I want to see more of them. It's just that since we only have 10 minutes, there's only so much we can see.
Right, exactly.
Right. And I did have it confirmed to me today by one of the Treehouse reps that there are specific moons that you can get that will unlock whole new areas within a level. So some kingdoms may start out small, but once you get specific moons, apparently they will expand and get bigger. I hate to draw comparisons to Yooka-Laylee there, because Yooka-Laylee. However, that is the game that comes to mind when I think of specific levels expanding once you've done certain things. And
I enjoyed
having
part
new
of
areas to
Yooka-Laylee.
explore.
I liked some of it.
Me too. No, I like some of it, but I hate to compare Yooka-Laylee to Mario.
Of course.
But
It had moments.
it had moments, yeah. I mean, I feel like I disliked it, less than most. However, when I think of individual kingdoms expanding, that's what I think of.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. But yeah. Well, I pretty much tapped on everything I got to play and see. They did show off the new amiibo that are coming out, and my God, the amiibo quality has increased so much. Just the detail in the Wedding Mario amiibo and the upcoming Breath of the Wild amiibo. It's just, man.
That was something I was really shocked wasn't there, actually, because when I first walked in, they had all the amiibo like lined up on the table, and I just assumed I was going to see the DLC for the new Breath of the Wild pack that I thought was going to be this holiday. And now I don't know if that's going to still come out this year. What do you guys think about that? Like, is that still going to be a 2017 release, or are we getting that maybe like in January or February of 2018 now?
At this point, I'm almost wondering if it's going to be a mid-December thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless we just get like a sudden direct, a Zelda direct talking about it, and hey, it's coming out next week. I'm kind of starting to feel like they may be pushing it to early 2018.
If they do, I think it would make a lot of sense. Because if they do that, like, we always get that big January direct. That's happened every year for like the past 4 years.
Right.
As there've been like this massive January Nintendo Direct with loads of new announcements, and sometimes things get released the same day. That seems like something that'll be happening right after Christmas, because like the last direct that we got, what was September? I think that was the last one we got. So like, yeah, I mean, from September through the holidays, we pretty much know everything that's coming out now. And unless they do like a game-specific direct, I really feel like maybe that Breath of the Wild DLC pack is something that they could be like, hey, January 6th or 7th or whenever we end up having that next Nintendo Direct, day and date, the new DLC pack is now out. Download it, go on the eShop, and then people just go crazy. So, I mean, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Well,
It'd be cool.
and it's not as if there's a shortage of things to play throughout the holidays on the Switch anyway.
Yeah.
I think
So,
maybe that's
it
a
may-
reason
yeah.
why they're doing it, is maybe they don't want to like cannibalize the hype for all the other stuff, or I should say they don't want it to be cannibalized. I cannot speak today. I've been playing too many games. They don't want the Breath of the Wild DLC pack to be cannibalized by all the stuff that, of course, is coming out.
We'll see. I mean, I don't mind. I'm fine with it coming out whenever. You know?
Yeah, me too.
There's
honestly,
no
there's so much to
issues.
play at any. Yeah, I'm in no rush.
All right, well, I think that covers it for our Nintendo Holiday Preview event discussion. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Roger, where can they find you at?
Sure, they can find me at RogersBase on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Instagram, RogersBase. And I have lots of direct feed footage of my Xenoblade demo on my secondary channel, Game & Vlog, which is linked on my main channel, RogersBase. So check them both out. I have videos on both of those channels. And as always, thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah, no problem. Always great having, great getting more opinions, having you on here talking. Good stuff. And of course, be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on the Switch and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.